everybody? It's time for episode 264 of Talking with Topher. This is April 24th, 2025. And just like you, I'm so happy to still be alive. Let me start off the way I always do by saying thank you to all of my subscribers out there. You're what keeps me coming back here week after week. Remember to subscribe if you're new or just checking out the channel. If you want to tell your story or be a guest, the email. All right? Send an audio, video, or type it out. And you got to send it over to talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. And of course, the link tree is in the description below the video, along with all of today's links, so you can follow along and check it out for yourself. With that all being said, let's get into today's episode. What's happening, everybody? What is happening? I am so happy to be back. We are going to just jump into Topher's theories today. I got some crazy stuff lined up. I don't know if this will make it on YouTube. We'll find out later. But I went and enjoyed myself a couple moments ago, and there's a few things I want to say real quick. I don't know who these rich people are. I don't know who these billionaires think they are. I am pro-Trump, but I don't agree with everything going on today. Okay? I just kind of want to throw this out there because there has been a lot of stuff going around saying that the people that would cry or call for their unemployment or Social Security are the scammers. Man, this couldn't be more backwards. They are saying this because they know the phones are going to blow up with everybody who is going to have their lives fall apart if they don't get their Social Security check. And this way they can say, nope, you're just a scammer. All the people not asking for it are the people that are not scamming. And this is absolutely wrong because you know for a fact that the people depend on those paychecks month to month, whatever it happens to be, but they are dependent on those things. And if they don't show up, yeah, they're going to call because their entire life is going to fall apart. The people that are not calling, those are the people that don't even need it. So, yes, I vote for Trump. But no, I don't believe in the things that are happening right now. The people getting scoffed up at schools and universities because they're pro-Palestine? What are we even talking about right now? Israel sucks, and I know that they shouldn't have done what they did, but they didn't deserve what they got. So, I guess I'm pro-Palestine, which I don't even know if that's true. But what are we talking about? Are they going to come and scoff me up now because I believe that somebody did somebody an unjust? It went too far? What they are doing is completely and absolutely inhumane? Am I pro-Palestine now, too? So, what is going on right now? Like, I don't care if you get rid of people who are undocumented, not paying taxes, here illegally, gangsters, killers, fentanyl pushers, whatever. Fine. Figure it the fuck out. But at the end of the day, man, if they are doing what they're supposed to be doing, they're here on a visa, they're in school, they're pro-Palestine, pro-Israel, who gives a shit? If they are actually trying to be an American citizen the right way, people that have been here for 20 plus years paying taxes, I don't even know if they're in the group, but if they are, that's wrong. And they need to figure this out. They need to organize it better. So yes, I did vote for Trump, but no, I'm not agreeing with a lot of this shit today. And as for the tariffs, I have no idea what's going to happen, but I think this is going to hurt us tremendously. I think there's a lot of things right now that I was hopeful for that are actually happening that seems like all it's going to do is hurt us. So, hey, I've been wrong before, right? And I will always admit to my wrongs. But man, they need to get more organized and figure this out. They're hurting people that benefit from these things, and the people that don't need the benefits are getting all the benefits again. Same exact story. Same exact story. So I just wanted to throw that out there first thing. And then from here on out, we're going to get into some wacky shit today. It's going to be a lot of fun. Here we go. So my first thing that I want to hit today is the unfortunate death of Val Kilmer. Now, I loved Val Kilmer. He played some amazing characters. He was an amazing actor. I'm sure most of you know this. The reason I wanted to talk about it today, because he died at age 65, right? And they're talking about his movies. And the movies that they talk about that he is known for, okay, so they talk about it more in the actual article. All right, good. Because the movie I remember him from the most was Tombstone. And in the article headline, it was like 3 or 4 movies that, like, yeah, they were good. They were good movies, but like they were not the great movies that I remember him being in. Although my thought of a great movie might be completely different of yours. But Tombstone was an absolute phenomenal film. He played an amazing, amazing character, Doc Holliday. And what didn't he actually, like, what role didn't he kill, right? So, I don't know. I just wanted to bring this up. It was part of my childhood. My sister played that movie so many times that my mom had to buy a new VHS. Not that you know what that is. Look it up. But actually wore out the film. So she had to get a new copy. That's how many times that movie played in my house when I was growing up. So I was kind of shocked. I knew he was fighting some type of like throat cancer or something because he lost his voice and he was battling something. But unfortunate to say that Val Kilmer died the other day at the age of 65. So and The Doors. Okay, so this one, the CBS article, names Tombstone and The Doors. The other 3 articles I read before I pulled this one up, it was like 3 or 4 movies, and I'm like, yeah, those ones were good, but what about his great movies, you know? And then I was like, well, maybe at that point in time, I was like, well, maybe my definition of a great movie is completely different. But yeah. So my sister loved it. We loved it. He was great, and it's just unfortunate, man. Those battles, they come to an end. Those cancer battles, man, they are brutal. Speaking of that, crazy, on the other hand, now, sorry, but, you know, my dad was battling some, what was it? It was bladder cancer, then it traveled to his bones, and then it became this whole thing, and there was lots of treatment. And he just had his most recent scan, and everything's gone. Now, mind you, and I love my father. I love him very much. So I'm not talking negative about it, but I am completely and absolutely surprised. My dad is not the epitome of health by any means, but my dad doesn't not take care of himself, to be fair. But I was completely shocked at his reaction to all of this and how he used it to change everything for a more positive. So for that, I'm so happy. So even out of all of the negative stuff that goes on in my little world, there is, some positive things too that I do forget to reflect on. Because I'm so engulfed and absorbed by the negative and the everyday hard to do, in and out, whatever. You know what I mean? And I think that's just human. But I wanted to reflect on that real quick because, I mean, there's not many stories of, I think there's less stories of full recoveries. Now, granted, I do believe in order to say he is all good would be 10 years from now. I think maybe, well, 9 years now. But, you know, these stories I don't think are shared as often because they don't happen as often. So, you know, seeing my dad change the way he now takes care of himself and what he is doing to, you know, make it further on this planet and have a longer life, really, really brought some joy and happiness to mine, obviously. I don't want my dad to leave, but at the same time, I was like, man, this could get really bad because, you know, he wasn't always thinking of his health. So I'm super thankful that he actually decided to think of his health. You know, I'm super, super thankful. But, you know, things, I do believe a lot of us need to think of our health today and think of what we're consuming and putting in our bodies. You know, I do believe a lot of these battles lost, maybe not Val Kilmer per se, but a lot of these battles lost is because of everything that is available to us today. I do believe it has a lot to do with it. Everything is connected. Everything is connected. So let's move on. Let's see. Now, hey, look at this, everybody. New York Times finally admits the conspiracy theorists were right. Huh? Hey, we're right more times than we're ever wrong. But when it's wrong, it's really wrong, okay? But I'm telling you, man, look at the list of shit that has been considered conspiracy theories, and I'm just saying, we got more green checks, and I'm not considering myself a conspiracy theorist at all because I don't have the information, right? I'm just playing people's videos. I'm absorbing the information and I'm regurgitating anything that I've read, seen, or heard, okay? So I don't think I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm more of an enthusiast. I'm having fun with it. It is very intriguing, some of the paths these things go down, but also at the same time, you see how many things were proven correct once enough evidence was there to prove it correct. But hey, the evidence existed. We had to find it. So that's what has me an enthusiast, because it's not all bullshit all the time. But some of it, you mean, it goes somewhere where you're like, could this really be real? And then you find out it is. So, yay! Thank you, New York Times. We're supposed to give them a round of applause that now, 5 years separated from this incident, they're finally like, yeah, okay, they were right. It was made in a lab. And that Fauci and the experts misled the public, everybody. No shit. Called this long time ago. Now, this video does go on for about 9 minutes, so I'm only going to play a moment or two of it. We're going to listen, and I just kind of want him to go over his tweet.
A miracle has happened. The New York Times ran an op-ed acknowledging not only that the COVID virus originated in the lab, but the government officials and scientists conspired to keep the substantiating evidence secret. the lab leak theory was censored on social media because of pressure from the administration. We shouldn't have done it. Okay, just so everybody knows that. So here's from the, I'll read some of it from the article, right? So in 2020, when people started speculating that a laboratory accident might have been the spark that started the COVID-19 pandemic, they were treated like kooks and cranks. Many public health officials and prominent scientists dismissed the idea as a conspiracy theory, insisting that the virus had emerged from animals in a seafood market in Wuhan, China. And when a nonprofit called Eco Health Alliance, which is a CIA cutout, lost a grant because it was planning to conduct risky research into bat viruses with the Wuhan Institute of Virology, research that, if conducted with lax safety standards, could have resulted in a dangerous pathogen leaking out into the world. No fewer than 77 Nobel laureates and 31 scientific societies lined up to defend that organization. Mm-hmm. So when the Wuhan research was, the Wuhan research was totally safe. And the pandemic was definitely caused by natural transmission. It certainly seemed like consensus. This is the New York Times talking. Yeah. We have since learned, however, that to promote the appearance of consensus, some officials and scientists hid or understated crucial facts, misled at least one reporter, meaning they lied, orchestrated campaigns of supposedly independent voices, and even compared notes about how to hide their communications in order to keep the public from hearing the whole story. Yeah. And as for the Wuhan laboratory's research, the details that have since emerged show that the safety precautions might have been terrifyingly lax. Might have been?
I mean, what? What? Oh, well, thank you, New York Times. I mean, if they didn't say it right, we were still kooks, weren't we? Jesus Christ, man. I'm telling you, this is crazy. I've been saying this for a long time. I think a lot of us have. We all thought that this was just some experiment, and it's turning out to be more and more true. And the people that are getting these boosters for this shit are getting sicker than anybody else. It's easier for you to catch it because you have so much spike protein in you. It's wild, everybody. It's like they gave you the component that you needed to contract it, so that you keep contracting it. I mean, it's wild to think about. Now, this is also coming from a person who has never got it, also got 2 shots of Moderna. But supposedly, nicotine is what's keeping me alive. So I found that to be really interesting. So this robot here is industrial, and this can do multiple things, I guess. It is massive, everybody. Just massive. Take a look at this thing. It's on, it's almost like one of those cars you would drive around in the airport. That's how wide and long it looks. And then it's got these 2 giant arms side by side. And, okay, yeah, so if your wheels, all right. So it does the work of 2 people. Oh, wow, this is one machine doing the work of 2 people, everybody. What are those weights? Are those 150s? No. Do they even make 150s? That's crazy. Huh. It goes faster, higher. Oh, have they been trying to achieve the height of the actual trailer and making it all the way to the top? I bet you they have. 45 pounds each arm. It moves faster, reach higher, lifts stronger. Doing the work of 2 people. I just saw a thing, and I got to look at it later, but I just saw a Tesla robot in a garage changing tires. This is insane, everybody. Oh, actually, it's right here at the bottom. I don't know if you can see the screen. Right here. Gen 3. And it's got the Tesla bot, and he's holding a tire. 2 of them. Makes me wonder. It makes me wonder, everybody. What are they not going to be able to do? What are they not going to be able to do? And what are we going to be able to do when there's nothing to do? If there's no work to be done, there's no money to be made, what is supposed to happen? What is supposed to happen at that point? So this here is the most dangerous cities in the U.S.
The 3 most dead cities in the USA, everyone is fleeing. Number 3, St. Louis, Missouri. Once a thriving industrial hub, St. Louis has lost over 65% of its population since its peak in the 1950s. Crime rates are staggering, with a violent crime rate of 2,000 per 100,000 people, making it one of the most dangerous cities in America. Entire blocks are abandoned, with over 25,000 vacant buildings crumbling into decay. The city's economy collapsed as major industries shut down. Number 2, Gary, Indiana. Once a steel-producing giant, Gary has lost over 55% of its population since 1960, leaving entire neighborhoods empty. Crime is out of control, turning the city into a war zone. The downtown is full of massive abandoned skyscrapers, including the once Grand City Methodist Church, now a crumbling ruin. Number 1, Detroit, Michigan. The city once known as the Motor City has become a ghost town, losing more than 1.2 million residents since its peak in the 1950s. Over 30,000 abandoned buildings rot in silence, some turning into shelters for criminals. The city declared bankruptcy in 2013, making it the largest municipal bankruptcy in U.S. history.
Wow, dude. Those 3 cities, man, are the most abandoned cities in the U.S. And, I mean, Detroit, Michigan being number 1 makes a lot of sense. That was a giant boom for vehicles. And when the vehicle manufacturing got shipped overseas, it just destroyed that city. And it's just gotten worse over the years. So this is what I believe Trump is trying to fix, right? This is what he's trying to fix. If he puts the tariffs on, makes it more difficult to ship things over, it pushes us back to developing here in America and reviving jobs and reviving cities and making shit for ourselves. One of the things that, if you forgot, the medical masks, and not that I believe in the masks, but the masks, the vaccines, the all the drugs and stuff, they were all made overseas. And when COVID happened, we couldn't get this stuff shipped in. And everybody's like, we need to start making the shit here at home. Well, that's what he is trying to do. I just don't know if it's going to work the way I want it to, right? That's what I'm worried about. That's what I was talking about in the beginning of this podcast, is that this is what he's trying to fix. Is these cities have fallen apart because the jobs left. The factories failed because the jobs got shipped overseas. So we lost these cities because of the movement that we took for cheaper fucking products and cheaper labor. And now we have this, and I do believe he's trying to bring it back. He's trying to make it so that we can actually do what we used to do and have a thriving America again. But these factories are just going to reopen and they're going to be full of robots. So we're going to do it. We're going to do it, right? This is what I believe. We're going to do it. But then it's going to be robots doing everything. So nobody gets to benefit from this. Because you still didn't get a job. That's what I think is going to happen. By the time we start rebuilding, it's going to be too late. because it's just going to be all humanoids doing our jobs anyways. So it's not going to give the people jobs. It's going to give the humanoids jobs. So we're going to be right where we are right now. The only people benefiting are all the rich. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane, dude. It's insane. I see the exact same pattern happening all over again. All right. So, you know. Well, when you see a faker, you call out their fakeness, right? So that's what I'm doing. Check this out, everybody. When astronauts get caught. Look at this. Look at this guy in the corner. Right there. What's he doing down there? What's he doing? He's like, they're like, you need to pan the camera over, buddy. Look, he's waving to the camera now. Like, there's a glass of water sitting on the table. They're supposed to be floating in space. If you're floating in space, how is that glass of water just sitting there? It wouldn't just sit there. It'd be floating. There'd be water particles everywhere. Did they reach the moon in 1969? Well, what the fuck is this? This guy has got a shovel, and he's like spreading sand over a what? Oh, a movie shoot. Yes, we already knew that. I mean, there was no way that ever happened, right? If you have half a brain and understand electronics, you know that there was no capable way for them to do what they did and get the footage that they got. It's just impossible. Obviously, it was a movie set. So, I mean, but you see these things, these videos that keep popping up with all this footage that was cut out of the actual footage that was shown. And you have people working on things with cups, and they're drinking in the cup on the table that was probably left by somebody in the film crew or the lighting crew. And you know what I mean? Look, man, if this shit is fucking real, then show me. Show me. Okay? I'm not paying $2 million to go up in space. But if this shit is actually real, bro, show me. Show me. Because I don't, it's so hard right now. It is so goddamn difficult to actually believe this stuff at all today. It's so hard. I want to believe that we're in space. We have satellites. We got all the stuff. We know all the planets. I do. But honestly, show me. Like, the people that were stuck in space for months, they didn't have a phone on them. They didn't have anything on them for some footage. How do I know that they didn't just spend the last 8 months, in Greenland? How do I know? How do I know? I don't know. I only know what they told me. So I see stuff like this. You tell me these things are happening, and it just doesn't add up. And I don't know. It's frustrating in a sense, because if it's not true, why are we still lying about it? And why is every country lying about it? And if it is true, well then, can we get some better proof than all these cutouts of or recordings of fakeness? Like, the race that we needed to win when we faked the moon landing was super important. But what are we doing? Why are we doing it today? Why is it being hidden at all if there is something to hide? But I mean, you see these videos with talking to the astronauts and all this stuff, and man, even Buzz Aldrin doesn't want to answer the question. Or he does blatantly say, we did not go. So, I don't know, man. It's wild to think about. It's just wild to think about. You see this stuff and you're like, yeah, that makes sense. Obviously, you know, there was a moment in time where they could get away with duping us. But not today. Not today. Let's see here. Admiral Byrd talking about Beyond the Poles. What year was this? It's all about the outer lands, everybody. The outer lands. This flat earth thing, man, has been around longer. It's been around longer. That's what intrigues me the most, is that this was talked about before the earth was talked about being round. That's why I'm interested in it. Because how is it possible that something that is fake been talked about longer than the other one? I thought it was going to be the opposite when I looked into it. I really did. And then it didn't happen that way. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. How is it that the one that's been around the longest is the fake one? That doesn't seem right to me. That seems like a narrative change.
The South Pole. Is there any unexplored land left on this earth that might appeal to adventurous young Americans?
Yes, there is. And not up around the North Pole, because it's getting crowded up there now, because they find out it's really usable, not only to live in, but militarily. But strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole on the other side of the South Pole from Middle America. And I think it's quite astonishing that there should be an area as big as that unexplored.
It's a tremendous
So
challenge.
there's a lot of adventure left down at the bottom of the world.
Hey, that was 33 with the sun. Go and follow him, all right? I'm not trying to take any credit for anything. Your videos are good. It's very informative, and I couldn't find it without some music. So there you go. There's your shout out. But what I'm getting at here is this has been talked about for so long. And there are so many people. Now, I am curious because I do listen to Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he did just go to the supposed Arctic wall, I believe is what he was talking about on his past podcast last week, which I believe is actually released weeks in advance if you pay for a subscription. But I want to hear more on what he saw there, because he's around, he believes that the solar system, all of the stuff, he believes it all. That's why I listen to him, because he believes so much. And in order to make any type of a decision in my life, I have to listen to both sides of everything. And that's why I'm so on the fence right now, because I do listen to so much. I can't make a decision because both of them can be proved correctly, I guess. But this information has been out there for a long time. So who's telling the truth? Huh? I believe the people over my government, always.
Why do some people believe in a flat earth? Let's collect all the information from the latest videos. With the enormous speed of the Earth's movement in the universe, which pseudoscientists talk about, everything on Earth is quiet and calm. The absence of visible curvature from a great height. And this is logical, because it is always easier to believe your eyes than to rely on the dogmas of strangers. Water always levels out, which means that with a round Earth, water in the seas and oceans would also level out, which would lead to huge tsunamis every second all over the world. If the Earth rotated, it would splash like a wet tennis ball. Very long railways, where engineers never take into account the curvature of the Earth when designing. Illogical temperature at the equator and Antarctica, when the sun is at an insignificant distance from these places. With a flat Earth, everything is simple. The sun rotates around the equator and it is hot there, and the sun rotates further from Antarctica and the North Pole, and therefore it is cold there. The illogical temperature of the planets that pseudoscientists talk about, and artificial intelligence that has reached the level where it has realized through its calculations that the Earth is flat.
What?
Gravity. For example, small objects are attracted to huge ones like the Earth, but there is no evidence of this. Fake evidence in Antarctica, where artificial light and shadow change in seconds. Fake photos that show that they have been edited. Fake videos of the round Earth with a fisheye effect. Why make fakes if you are sure of the truth? Real photos from great heights, where you can see that the Earth is flat.
Wow, man, that's crazy. See? Hey, it's all for entertainment purposes. This is VISHAL space KEEDU on Instagram. You can go follow them. Obviously, the links, they're all in the description below. I try to give everybody credit, but when music is playing, I try to give them more credit, so hopefully they'll let me play the video. But so far, so good. But yeah, I mean, this is wild, huh? Holy shit. So it does, I mean, all the videos that I have played on this podcast about the flat earth, round earth situation, the flight patterns make more sense. The fact that we could be a magnet, or there's a magnetic pull keeping us on here instead of just some random force of gravity, actually is mathematically works better. You know, these doctored films and pictures, Eddie Bravo has been screaming about forever. And then you have, you know, the fact that I didn't even think about it, but you're right. When they're doing construction, they're not keeping in mind that there's a curvature of the earth. And was he saying that if the earth was round, we would have tsunamis all the time? Or if the earth was flat, we would have tsunamis all the time? I didn't really understand that one, which is fine. And then I don't believe that the world would splash out like a wet tennis ball if it was round. So that one I am having a little bit of trouble with. That one sounds like it was thrown in there to kind of like, yes, this is a little bit more proof, but that one I question, to say the least. So, like I said, there's many different takes on this. But if you don't look at them all, you can't see which ones actually make more sense. I can't just sit there and blindly believe what you're telling me is the truth. I just can't about anything. But I can listen to both sides and make my own decision at that point. That feels more powerful. Check this out. Oh my God. This pilot. There's so many of these. It's so crazy. This is a whistleblower. Pilot admits they are told to keep flat earth a secret. Really? Please elaborate. Elaborate for me.
We're supposed to keep it a secret. Been pilot for 43 years. Wow. What shape is the planet? Flat. We're supposed to keep it a secret.
So, 43 years, pilot, told to keep it a secret. I don't know. Is he just having fun with some high kids on the tarmac? I don't know. Could it be true? Could every pilot out there have to sign an NDA saying that the earth is round and they're never allowed to actually speak of the earth being flat? What does it matter? What does it matter if it's round or flat? But if it's flat, are we in space anymore? Or are we sitting on the tree? I don't know. But check this out. It just keeps going, everybody. It's so much fun. And this one brings you back to the salt flats, sky ice, Testis 369, flat earth, and the Book of Enoch. Keeps coming up. Tartarians, Enoch. This is K Podge. Kay space PODG. Let's go. Okay.
Do you guys know about the Bolivia salt flats? This was an ancient sea that dried up. Now, for about 9 months out of the year, it forms hexagons, and the rest of the year it gets flooded with water and creates a perfect mirror. This area is 4,000 square miles long, and it's almost completely flat. Across the entire thing, there's only about 3 feet of variation in height. I talk all the time about how the firmament is a hexagonal lattice. Does anyone remember in Chicken Little when the sky started to look like this? Or when a piece of it fell down? And of course, we have our 3, 6, 9, 12 numbers for the elevation. In the middle of the flats, it's covered in giant cacti that grow up to 39 feet, 12 meters tall. In the book of Enoch, chapter 14, it's right after Enoch is raptured in Genesis. He says, I drew near to a great house built of hailstones, and the walls of this house were like tessellated paving stones. Tessellated, Tesla. And they were all of snow, and the floor was of snow, and the ceiling was like shooting stars and flashes of lightning. And in the midst of them were fiery cherubs, and their heavens were water. And then twice in Revelation, God says he hates the Nicolaitans. Could this be the elite that are trying to break the tessellating stone, the firmament? NASA uses the salt plains to adjust and improve the accuracy of satellite data. I've mentioned a couple times that I think that satellites are mostly there to monitor the firmament. There's always aluminum tanks on the videos of them. When I broke down what I think the sky ice would be made of, in order to make it a solid crystal, like a barrel consistency, all you would need to do is add aluminum. Why do all of these satellites have aluminum?
Aluminum. Wow. Wow. So what? We're using the aluminum on the satellites to break down the firmament? So the elites are trying to break through the firmament and they can't. That's why they're lying about space, because if they lie about space, then they can keep trying to break through the firmament. And we're not actually shooting stuff into space. We're shooting shit at the firmament, trying to break it. What if breaking the firmament is what keeping us all here? Now, I always said I felt like somebody was watching me when I was a kid. Like I was in a giant snow globe and somebody was just like, some giant thing was just watching over, looking in, going, look at all those people doing their thing. And he holds it. And maybe when I thought he was holding it, looking around, is when I was young, I believed that the earth was round. And now maybe he was just holding it on his hand. Just looking at everybody in the little dome. And I just imagined that when I was a kid. Seems to be coming somewhat true as an adult. Very interesting, though. Very, very interesting. If they are trying to break the firmament to get out, I mean, I don't want to know. If this is even remotely true, everybody, if they break that open, could you imagine what? It just sucks us out like on an airplane? Oh, boy. But they've been trying for a long time to break that firmament. I hope it hasn't gotten any weaker. This is so crazy to even talk about today. All right, so this is going to get interesting here. This is wake.uu.pp. Give them a follow. stewpeters.com. Let's see what they have to say about this. Look, I have no love for these people right now. I'm sorry if that upsets anybody. You can call me what you want, but I don't believe that they are the good guys. I don't believe that they're good guys. I don't think so. Here we go.
What is that? I mean, look at that. What is the Star of David? Is there a Star of David in the Bible? What is this?
There actually is. It's the Seal of Solomon.
Everybody just accepts that this star represents Judaism. This is the Star of the Jews. This is the Star of David. No Jew in the time of Jesus would have seen such a symbol. It was only in the 1600s in the city of Prague that star started to become this distinctive symbol for Jews. And now today, it's everywhere. In the Acts of the Apostles, Stephen preaches that, quote, ye took up the tabernacle of and the star of your God, Remphan, figures which ye made to worship them, and I will carry you away beyond Babylon.
The only time you have any mention in the Bible of the children of Israel using a star as a banner or taking up a star as a symbol, it is a false god. It's part of their pagan, satanic worship of Moloch or Remphan. They took up the star of their god Remphan. God never gave them this and said, use this. It makes more sense that it has to do with Remphan than the God of the Bible, since God never prescribed this.
Well, Remphan being not God would then be a false god.
Well, absolutely. The so-called Star of David is, of course, a satanic symbol because Judaism is a satanic religion. I don't care what symbol Judaism uses to represent itself. That's a satanic symbol.
Oh, shit, man. All right. I like where they're going with this. Oh, man. So they are, so it's satanic. So the Jews are, they're evil. I think they're bad people, man. I'm sorry. I know some shit happened. I get it. But it gave you no right to do what you did. Actually, it gave you less of a right to do what you did. You know? And I don't think anybody's innocent at the end of the day. I just think one group took it way too far. That's what I really think. Neither one of them are innocent. You know? But, yeah, I could agree with it. Very interesting. So let's see what this one is. This is done by @Batman_spotted. Rabbi Shmuley attempts to flex his manuscript knowledge only to get hilariously dismantled by @Real Candice Owen in a takedown that left him reeling. Candice never misses her mark. That Synagogue of Satan reference was totally unexpected. I've been saying they are evil people.
Candice, didn't Jesus say you're supposed to love your enemies? When Jesus said that you're supposed to turn the other cheek, where have you ever turned the other cheek? When Jesus said that the meek shall inherit the earth, if you are a Christian, then I am the second coming of Christ.
Okay. Here's what I would like to say to you, Rabbi, since you're quoting scripture. The one that's relevant to me is, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness. And if you'd like to dive into a little more scripture, I think what's relevant is Revelation 3:9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. And I'm speaking directly to you, Rabbi Shmuley.
Woo! Holy shit. That's right. So you are basically you are a bad guy disguising yourself as a good guy. And I do think a lot of them shield themselves behind what the past has done to say that they are better than, and they're not. You know, it's just lies. These people are looking for an edge just like anybody. You know, they've found this loophole to be able to lie to us. You know? So that's what I think is going on. I do think so. I think all of this makes a lot of sense. And then this one here is also done by @Batman_spotted. Jewish rabbi speaks to Christians. You guys worshiping one Jew. That's the mistake, because you should be worshiping all. I have no idea. I didn't check a lot of this stuff, but man, it's making a lot of sense to me right now.
I just want to say this to our Christian friends, you know, just to call it as it is and say it straight out, you know, you guys are worshiping one Jew. That's a mistake. You should be worshiping every single one of us, because we all die for your sins every single day. And that's exactly what's going on here. Yeah. We're all God's firstborn. We're dying for your sins right now because the Jewish people in the land of Israel are the bulwark against the orcs.
What? Well, this guy's saying that all Jews are great and they're dying for our sins every single day. I don't know about that. I think I disagree with this one a lot. I just, you know, the whole religious thing freaking really irritates me. It really does. You know? I don't care who you believe in. If that's what makes you comfortable with death, then do it. Why does everybody want to push their religion on everybody else? Why does it matter what religion you believe in? Religion is fucking fake. It's made up. It's stupid. It's a fairy tale. But I still think we're all wrong. I still think it's all wrong. I still think it's all wrong. I just want the lights to shut off, everybody. I don't need a fairy tale or something to help ease the pain of dying. When it happens, I just hope that I've done everything in my power to be the best person I was while I was here. And then I really do hope that it is the end. Because maybe I'll finally get some rest. So Area 51 scientist reveals what will happen in 2029. Now, this one I find interesting because everything I've been looking at says that we are not going to be around after 2027. This one gives us an extra 2 years, so it got my curiosity up.
Now, I'm going to casually mention to you something that's very scary indeed. And tell you what the alien agenda is. And it's going to sound very familiar. The alien agenda is the complete takeover of this planet, the killing off of 5, 6 to 7/8 of the world's population by the year 2029. U.S. military has known about this for 45 years. They've told no one. As far as I know, I'm the only person standing before a crowd talking about the alien agenda, secretively.
That's Project Bluebeam, everybody. That is Project Bluebeam. What's going to happen first? What's going to happen first? There's so many things to look forward to. The takeover of AI, the destruction of humanoids, the world coming to an end because of Trump in 2027. Trump being our last president. Do we actually have till 2029? Are the storms in the waters that have been receding? Do we have giant monsters? Are we going to get tsunamis? Did you see the earthquake in, I think it was Haiti? I mean, they were up over 100,000 people dead and over 3,000 people injured. So far, they are going to find way more. Way more. Or maybe it was over 2,000 people dead. I'm not sure. They are expecting over 100,000 people to be dead or missing and injured, I think in total. It's going to be crazy. So what is going to happen? I can't tell you that because I don't know. But what I can tell you is it seems like it's going to be something catastrophic. I don't know when it's going to happen, where it's going to happen. But man, I do believe something is going to happen before 2030. Right? Something's going to happen before 2030. This is getting wild. So, the world is an illusion because the world has already ended. Did you know this? Did you know that the world has already ended? And it was right after they turned on some machine. I forgot what it's called. Hopefully they go over it. But it was supposed to generate power or something. They were afraid to turn it on because if it was to go wrong, it could explode and end the world as we know it. But I think it just changed the world as we know it. All right. So let's take a look at this right here.
Hope y'all are ready because on July 5th, we get our superpowers. That's right, they're firing CERN up. Not only are they firing it up, but they're firing it up to the max. Here's some of the things that happened the last time they had it on. And it wasn't even the max. They changed Jiffy to Jif. Good old Berenstain Bears. It will always be sex in the city, not sex and the city. Makes no sense. Oscar Mayer with an E. I don't care what you say, Flintstones has never had an extra T. It's never been Flintstones. That don't even sound right. Good old Ed McMahon and the Publishers Clearinghouse that they say he never worked for.
What?
Yes, he did. Oh, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. They're saying life was like a box of chocolates. That don't make sense either. Can't forget the world ended in 2012 when they turned it on too. Oh, it's also kind of funny that they're firing it up at 13.6 trillion electron volts, which is actually our debt too, $13.6 trillion in debt. So screenshot everything, handwrite everything, record everything. I don't know what's going to change this time around, but I'm thinking it's going to be some crazy stuff. I hope y'all are ready because on July 5th, we get our superpowers.
So, what? So July 5th of this year, they're going to turn on the world's largest, most powerful particle accelerator. That's what it is. So what do they call it again? Beams of protons, blah, 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 blah. Hadron Collider is going to restart. Now, like I said, they turned it on in 2012. And supposedly all those things changed, which I found so intriguing. And look them up. They are definitely changed, but I don't remember the Flint, I don't remember Flintstones. I don't remember Flint stones. I remember Flintstones. So I believe that the Jiffy from Jif, I mean, that's a marketing thing, right? I mean, some of that stuff is explainable. I mean, everybody pronounced it Berenstain Bears, but it was the Berenstain Bears, whatever. So, I mean, that one was more of a pronunciation than an actual fact. And Ed McMahon did work for Publisher Clearinghouse. I remember those commercials when I was a kid. So, I'm not sure if all of that is true, but if they are turning this thing on to the max power, which is something that they were a little skeptical about, because if it explodes, it would be more devastating than the magma pit erupting at Yellowstone. I think the destruction of it is more than that. So, hopefully, we're all still here in July. And if we are, then me saying that I'm happy to still be alive will be a realistic saying. Every single time. It's crazy. Because, I mean, right now, it seems like no matter what I do, there's an opportunity to die. And I mean, that opportunity has always been there. Doesn't it seem more prominent for, mass casualties today than ever? That's kind of what I'm getting at. I kind of figured, anytime I get in a car, anytime I do anything, there's always a chance. There's always a chance. It's a gamble. But for a mass population death, just seems more plausible today with everything going on than ever, right? Isn't that crazy to think about and scary? Woo! What a time we're having here. What a time we are having, everybody. It's a wild world we live in. Wild world we live in, isn't it? So much going on. And I just, again, want to thank everybody for subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much. If you're new, remember to subscribe. You want to tell your story or get your opportunity to be a guest, send your email, send an audio, video, or type it out. Linktree is in the description below the video, along with all of today's entertainment-only topics are all in the description. Go check them out. See this stuff for yourself. Make your own decisions. And as always, I hope everybody out there has an amazing Thursday. I hope you enjoy your weekend. And I will talk to you later.